The chamber now is back in session, and the chamber would like to announce to parties that Judge Yuttara is now present in the chamber, and therefore he can attend the proceeding. And the chamber also would like to inform the prosecutors that the oral submission of two witnesses, two TCW 894 and two TC 938, the chamber will not give the floor for oral submission. Now the chamber gives the floor to defense counsel for Mr. Nuon Chea to put questions to the witness. You may now proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon. Your Honors, good afternoon, Madam Witness. I would like to ask you a few questions this afternoon. You were asked this morning a question whether you knew No Satas, and you confirmed that you indeed knew her. Can you tell me how well you knew her? For instance, did you work in the same mobile unit for a few years before you went to Tree Village in '78?
We were in the same mobile unit. Yeah, we were in Krochma Commune, Krochma District, Kampong Cham Province.
And had you been working with her in a mobile unit all that time before you went to Tree Village?
We were in the same mobile unit, so when we were evacuated away, we went together. And she and I, who survived the regime, we separated from each other.
Did you know her also before you started working in the mobile unit? Or did you only start to know her when you were working together in the mobile unit?
I only knew her when we started to work together in the mobile unit.
Was she a friend of you, or was she just someone who happened to work in your unit as well?
I knew her when we were in the mobile unit.
Now I would like to ask you about another girl or woman who I believe was in the same mobile unit as that you worked in, and someone who appears to be also from your own village, and her name is Tam Rahima. also known as Chuk. Do you know a woman called Tam Rahima?
Tam Harima Elis Chuk. She also lived in the same village with me, that is such Prochekandal village.
And was she indeed also in the same mobile unit as you were working in?
She was in the same mobile unit with me and also from the same village with me.
And was she someone who also went with that group of girls to Tree Village and who was also with you in that same house in which you were detained and which you described this morning?
Tam Chuk survived the regime.
That is also my understanding. Madam Witness, my question was whether she, like you, was also in that house at the river, the house in which the girls were asked whether they were Cham or not, and the house that you described this morning. Was she there with you and No Satas as well?
Yes, she was also in the same house. Yes, she was in the same house that all of us were detained.
So, do you remember if Tam Chuk, as you call her, whether the older sister of Tam Chuk was also present in that same room in that house?
Yes, we were all together, but she were taken away to be killed. She was among the probably 30 people who were taken away from the house to be killed.
I will come back to Tam Chuk a little bit later, but one last question on her. About her. That's the same question that you were asked earlier in relation to No Satas. Do you know whether Tam Chuk was able to look through that crack in the wall to see the events that took place outside of the house in the dark?
I could not say on that because it was a scary situation and we just try our best to save our lives. So I try to look through the crack in the wall because I did not see those people taken away came back, so I just wanted to know what happened to them. So I myself was not sure whether Tam Chuk also looked out through the crack in the wall.
But when you had been looking through the crack in the wall, did you tell the other girls in the room what it was that you were seeing? Did you tell them what you saw? Did the other girls in the room hear what you said you saw?
I did not tell them because we were all panicked. We just thought about our own life.
So is it your testimony that what you saw that was happening to the other girls, that they were executed, that was something only you saw, or something that you saw and kept to yourself? Is that your testimony?
President, Madam Witness, please hold on. The floor is given to the lead co-lawyer for civil party. Counsel, Mr. President, I would like to object this question because this question lead the witness to make assumption whether the other people had also witnessed the incident. So this is a kind of leading questions. Thank you.
May I suggest just divide the question, because I've heard one which I would personally have allowed and another one which I haven't allowed in one sentence. So perhaps we can ask one after the other.
No problem. Madam Witness, when you were seeing through that hole or that crack in the wall, did you tell the other girls in the room what you saw?
No, I did not tell them because I was so scared. I kept it in my mind.
Do you know whether there were other girls other than you that had that same, who were like you, trying to see through the crack in the wall what was happening? Was it only you who looked through the wall, or did other girls do that too?
No one else tried to look out through the crack in the wall. Only me alone who did that.
The reason I'm asking you this question is that No Satas told the investigators that she hadn't in fact witnessed any executions with her own eyes, although she said earlier that she did see this execution. And Tam Chuk also doesn't mention at all having actually witnessed any execution. It's a little bit complicated question, but do you have an explanation as to
President, the floor is given now to Judge Fent.
Put the references, please.
Can I at least finish my question first? Now I've lost my thread, but I will do it again. I'm referring to E3/5193, English ERN 00274704, Khmer 002044445, French 002241113. Here Nosatas says the following, and I will quote literally. I did not witness the execution, but later I was told about the execution by a person who had seen it. I do not remember that person's name. I told Mr. Osman that I saw the execution as I wanted to seek justice against those murderers. That's one. The statement of, or rather the interview that Tam Rahima or Tam Chuk gave to Eva Osman is written down in E3/2653. English ERNs, page numbers 00219-202 until 204. French 00943985 and Khmer 009043996 and 97. She details. She tells in a quite detailed manner what had happened, but she doesn't mention having witnessed any execution. So, Madam Witness, these two girls who were in the same room as you haven't witnessed any execution. Could you please give a reaction to that?
President, the chamber gives the floor to International Co-Prosecutor. You may now proceed.
Your Honor, it appears to me counsel is just asking the witness to speculate. The witness has stated just this afternoon, a few moments ago, that she believes she was the only one who looked through the cracks in the wall of the window and saw the execution. So asking her to explain what other people who said they didn't see the executions, how that could be, she's already given the explanation. She said she was the only one who saw it.
I think it's an appropriate question. Maybe she hasn't said it at the time, but apparently she met the other two afterwards, after 79 as well, I presume. So I think it's only fair to the witness to allow her to give a reaction to what seems to be possible contradictory evidence. So I'm only asking for a reaction, Mr. President.
President, the chamber gives the floor to Judge Laven. You may now proceed.
Counsel Koppe, I have a hard time of following your line of questioning. I don't see any contradiction between what you read out and the testimony that we have just heard from this witness. So please explain to me where the contradiction lies and what the witness should explain to you, the witness who is here today with us.
It is the position of the defense that she hasn't actually seen anything through a crack in the wall, and I would like to put before her two pieces of evidence of two women who were in the same room who haven't seen anything. Now, in theory, the prosecution is right. That could be explained by the fact that it was only her looking through the crack in the hole. I don't find that very persuasive, but I think the witness is entitled to give a reaction as to why it is that those two women didn't see anything.
Yes, but I believe, unless I'm mistaken, that I did not hear that the testimonies that you just read out contradict what the witness has just said. Or maybe I didn't follow you properly. It's not because they saw nothing that this means that this witness did not see anything.
Correct, but that doesn't mean that I cannot ask her. That doesn't mean that I cannot ask her to give a reaction on these two witness statements, indicating that they didn't see anything. If she says, "Well, that's because I was the only one," that's fine.
Well, it appears to me that you already have the answer, because she said that she was a priori the only person watching. So I don't really know what you're looking for.
Fine. I'll move on. Madam Witness, let me ask you now a few questions about what happened in the room. I'm a bit confused as to how many girls there were in total in the room at the beginning, and how many were taken away, quote unquote, to be killed. You talked about 36 women in total, and you also said that 20 women were taken to be killed. However, somewhere else in your WRI, you seem to suggest that there were only 10 girls who had to leave and who were allegedly killed. Was it 20 or was it rather 10?
To answer your question, in my answer in the morning, it was a little bit unclear. I want to clarify that all of us together were 36, but 20 among the 36 were taken away, so only 16 people survived.
In your WRI E3/7772, on the last page of your interview, that's English ERN 00348090, Khmer 00345168, and French 0041164. You seem to be saying that it was rather 10 girls who were taken away, which seems to correspond with what No Satas has said, because he also seems to speak about 10 girls. So are you sure it was 20 girls and not 10 girls?
President, the chamber gives the floor to the International Co-Prosecutor. You may now proceed.
Your Honor, I believe I see what counsel's referring to, and I don't think there's that that is properly represented. I think I have a different interpretation than he does. In that particular sentence that he's talking about, let me read exactly what the witness says. When we first arrived, they did not give us anything to eat, but after they had taken about 10 females to be killed already, then they gave the gruel to the rest of us to eat. That does not preclude others being killed after the first 10. And actually, if you look at the previous page, the beginning of that interview, the second question from the investigator, you have indicated the location where 20 Cham women had been killed. Is this true? And she said yes. So, to me, as I read the interview, she has said in the interview, consistent with her testimony, that 20 were killed.
You might have listened, heard my question. I was saying it seems to suggest, I wasn't saying it actually says so. I was asking for clarification, that's what I was doing. And I was also tying in the fact that No Satas speaks about 30 girls taken away. So I'm just asking for her clarification. I'm not saying it's any contradiction yet, just asking whether it was 20 girls in her recollection rather than 10, if she is sure about that.
Regarding Nosata's answer to you, I cannot give any comment on her answer. But as for my own answer, it comes from my own witnessing. Nosata did not communicate with me. She did not tell me that 10 were taken out to be killed. And I also did not communicate with her. So the figure that I just told you came from my own witnessing. So I cannot give any of my comments on Nosata's testimony. President, Madam Witness, could you please give specific answer to the questions? The defense counsel want to know the specific number of girls who were taken away to be killed out of the group of people who were detained in the house with you.
Witness. Amongst the 36 of us who were detained on the house, 20 were taken off the house and killed. So there were only 16 left on the house. I hope this is clear for everyone.
That's very clear, thank you. Madam Witness, I was just seeking confirmation. Another line of questioning now in relation to the questions that were asked to all the girls in that room. At one point in time, were you also asked by any of the cadres present what your name was?
The cadres at the detention house did not ask me about my name. They only recorded the number of Cham people, of the mixed blood, and of the Khmer people, but they did not take note of our full names. They only wanted to know the total number of the Cham people, the Khmer people, and of the mixed blood. And that's all they did. And they did not ask about the names.
So also No Satas and Tamchuk and her older sister were not asked any names. Is that correct?
I did not know because we were questioned individually, so I didn't know what they were asked. And it is their questions for them, so I could not tell you the answer.
No problem, but let me then focus on you. And let me read to you an excerpt from your interview to Eva Osman, E3/7745, English ERN 00204414, Khmer 0020441, and French 0026881. And here's what you said, man of witness. A moment later, 6 cadres come into the house. Some held notebooks and big ballpoint pens, and they questioned each one of us. Among them were 2 female cadres. When they got to me, a cadre asked, "What is your name? Where all did you work for before you came here?" I answered truthfully. Then the cadre asked, "What race are you?" I lied. Now, Madam Witness, it seems to me that you answered the question, "What was your name?" truthfully. So this means that the question was asked, "What's your name?" and that you answered Ahmed Sophia. Ahmad Sophia. Is that correct?
Isa Osman did ask me this question, and that was the statement I gave him. And the statement that you quoted might be my confusion. However, they did take note of my response. However, I did not tell the purple group of my name, but I did tell Isa Osman of my real name, that is Ahmad Sofias.
I'm a bit confused, Madam Witness, with your answer, because here you're describing that your name was asked and that you answered truthfully. Is that what happened in 78, or is that not what happened?
Maybe Isa Osman made a mistake when he took note of my interview with him. I did not tell the Khmer rules about my actual name as Ahmad Sofias, but I told this name to Isa Osman.
Well, let me confront you with the testimony of No Satas in this courtroom on the 28th of September 2015, right after 18 minutes past 2. She said that she was asked her name, and she says, "I told them that my name was No Chia An and not No Satas." So it seems that she says that she's saying she gave a false name, and Tam Chuk said to Eva Osman, same ERNs as just quoted by me. Inside, they questioned us in detail about our personal histories and recorded the answers in a book. That seems to me a bit odd that they would leave out the name of persons they ask questions to. So my question again, are you sure that you never gave your name through the cadres?
I have a question for you. Are you referring to the Khmer Rouge cadres who asked me about my real name?
Yes.
No, I did not tell them my name.
Let me try differently. Did you then give a false name, maybe?
I use another name, Ryan, and if this name Ryan is not used, then it means that I did not tell them my name.
Is that because Ahmad Sophia is a name that sounds like someone who's a charm?
Sophia's is the name that I gave to Isa Osman, but for the Khmer Rouge group I did not tell them my name. And as I said, if the name Ryan was mentioned, it means that I gave that name to them.
Once the initial name asking was, or identity inquiry was done, did cadres subsequently in the next days go check and verify in the commune or district the details that were given? Were they going out to verify whatever you had been saying?
I have a question for clarification. Which cadres are you referring to?
Well, I wasn't there, Madam Witness, so I wouldn't know. But my question to you is, do you know, after the initial identity inquiry was done, whether the cadres who were involved in this questioning, or maybe others, subsequently went into the commune or the villages to verify your identities?
It seems that there was no cadre who went to verify information at the commune or village. And in fact, I was interviewed twice in Trier village and one in Kampong Cham.
I'm not sure if I understand your answer. What we have established so far is that the girls who were in that room, either inside or outside, were asked questions about their personal identities. My question is, did cadres involved in this process or other cadres go out in the next 9 or 10 days and verify that you were in fact who you told them that you were?
No. And as I said, I was not asked that question.
No Satas is saying that after the questioning was done, cadres went out for days in order to verify all the details of the biographies that you had been given. Is that correct or is that not correct?
I did not know about what Notasa said. She lived in a different place. And I stand by my previous statement, including the testimony that I made this morning. And I cannot tell you about Nosata's statement.
You said that you were the only one looking through the crack in the wall. Nobody else did. Were you also the only one that heard things about possible rape of the girls who had just been taken away?
Witness, please hold on, and International Court Prosecutor, you have the floor.
Honor, counsel's asking one witness what other people heard. That clearly is calling for speculation. How does she know what other people heard? If he could reformulate a question asking, well, I don't want to tell him how to ask questions. Hopefully, I think he knows how. But asking what other people heard is pure speculation.
Let me rephrase it. I have no problem. Man of witness, you talked about hearing cadres speak about, or rather victims, possible victims, girls talking about not being raped by the cadres. Where were you when you heard that?
I heard it also through the crack in the wall. I tried to see what happened through the crack of the wall and what they would be doing to them. And through the crack in the windows wall, that's what I saw. I saw them being killed. And I heard shouting from those women begging them not to rape. But I did not see any act of raping. I only heard they shout begging them not to rape.
And are you in a position to tell us or explain us whether it was only possible to hear these voices when you were very close to the crack in the wall? Or was it so loud that anybody could have heard it in that house?
I did not know because the house was pretty big, and We were pretty scared while we were there, and I could not tell you whether those people did hear the voices, and I could only tell you of my personal experience that I heard it.
So you cannot give any explanation as to why neither No Sotas or Tam Chok never speak about having heard anything about rape, correct?
I didn't know about them, so I cannot tell you whether they heard it or not.
Let me go back now to the questioning of No Satas. You said that you weren't present and that you haven't heard anything, but did No Satas tell you what questions were asked to her?
I need to have a clarification from you. Please refresh your question, since I don't fully understand it. In relation to your last question concerning No Satas.
I'll be very happy to do that, Madam Witness. You said that you didn't observe or didn't hear the actual interrogation of No Satas. Did she speak to you later about the questions that were asked to her?
I did not know about the questions that were put to No Satas.
Well, let me tell you that she was asked whether she was so she says, whether she was a Vietnamese girl or not. But she also said something else that I would like to ask your reaction about. And she says in the transcript of 29 September 2015, ERN 011522979, she speaks about a difference in treatment of people from the East Bank, Cham from the East Bank, and a difference of treatment of Cham from the other side of the river. Do you know anything about the difference in treatment of Cham on the east part of the river and the north part of the river?
I did not know about this. I did not know about the Cham people living on the different sides of the river, if that what was said by No Satas.
Fine, no problem. Let me now turn to a person that you discussed earlier, Hor. Can you explain to me how it was that you knew Hor before you entered that room in this house? How did you know him? How did you know that he was Hor?
I knew that he was Ho when I was detained in that house. And and while I was there for 24 hours, I saw him. And next day, I was moved to another house to the east of that house, and actually he came to talk to us. He referred to the surviving 16 people, including myself. That's why I said I know his name and his face well.
So, just to be sure, before that day, in the room, in that house, you had never heard of horror, correct?
Before I was sent there, I did not hear his name or know about him, and I began to know him while I was detained there for 24 hours, and also the next day. That is when I was moved to another house and remained in that house for 5 days.
And what else did you start to know about him, other than that this man was horror? What else did you learn about him?
I only know his name and nothing else much. They mentioned his name and they mentioned him, or they refer to him as Chief.
Only Chief?
Yes, I knew he was Chief because he was there in charge of his subordinates.
But how was it that you came to know that he was the district chief? Maybe he was chief of that particular unit involved in guarding you and questioning you. Is that possible?
I heard those people refer to him as Chief Ho.
I understand, but it could be Chief Ho of a militia unit, it could be Chief Ho of district military, it could be Chief Ho of sector military, it could be all kinds of Chief Ho. Why do you say he was district Chief Ho?
I did not know about that. The only thing I knew was that while I was detained there, they referred to him as the Chief Ho, and that's how I referred to him as a Chief Ho, and I did not know if he was chief of any particular unit or not.
Do you know whether Chief Ho today, or the time that you were questioned by Eva Osman, is still alive, or whether he's dead?
Since that event, I do not know whether he is still alive or he is dead.
No, Satas seems to know that he is dead. Does that? Can you give a reaction to that?
Again, counsel's, I think, asking the witness to speculate, and I think obviously trying to lead her into speculation that would be contrary to things we know. I don't want to say anything else.
I'll rephrase. Have you ever heard whether Ho is dead?
Nowadays, I don't know whether he is alive or dead.
Let me now move to my very last subject. Madam Witness, have you ever heard anything about a rebellion in your village in 1975, October 1975, a rebellion of the Cham in various villages alongside the Mekong River in Krutschmar?
I did not know about the activities in other villages. I only can tell you about activities that happened in my village, although I cannot recall the details since I was only about 14 years old. After the Khmer Rouge entered the area, they called all the Cham people to get out of their houses and to line up along the road. And I did not know about their plan. So we were rather shocked. We did not know where to flee to. So then we would stay along the road. And after that, they allowed us to go to our respective house. And I did not know what their intention was at the time. And actually, at that time, every member of a family was called to get out of the house and to line up along the road.
Are you referring to the events in October 75 when various villages such as Tree Village, Svay Kleng, Kopal, and possibly also your village rebelled against the government?
At that time, I was only 14 years old. I did not know much about the rebellions at other places.
Let me read a little bit about from No Sata's testimony in this courtroom. That was her testimony on 29th of September, 30 minutes after 9 o'clock. She says the following. I asked her whether she knows anything about the White Khmer movement, and she says, quote, "I heard something about it, that is, about the White Khmer group, and it was the issue of the White Khmer that people in the village were accused of being the White Khmer, the American CIA agents, and for that reason they were arrested. People were arrested and put on horse carts, and that usually happened around 7 or 8 o'clock at night. And those who were arrested never returned. And that was the root cause of rebellion that took place in Svay Kleng." She continues, but have you ever heard of the involvement of something called White Khmer in the rebellion in Svay Kleng and other villages in October 1975?
I did not know about this. As for Satasi was aware of these matters, it's her own knowledge. But for me, I had no knowledge of this.
That's no problem. Madam Witness, have you ever heard anything about fighting armed conflict in 1977 or 1978 between the White Khmer or the Khmer Sar and the southwest forces?
No, I did not know about this matter because I was too young to know about this.
Have you ever heard any signs of military conflict, fighting, artillery fire, gunfire, anywhere near to where you were working or afterwards or any time in 77 or 78?
No, I didn't know.
Thank you very much, Madam Witness. Thank you, Mr. President. My national colleague has a few additional questions.
President, the floor is given to the National Council for the Defense. Council, thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon, parties. Good afternoon, the bench. Good afternoon, Madam Witness. I am a counsel for the defense team for Nuon Chea. Can you tell the chamber in what year you got married? Answer. I got married when I was 17 years old. After question, how many months after the arrest and taken away to be killed that your marriage took place? Answer. 3 months. Question. Could you tell the chamber how your marriage took place? Answer. There were 70 couples in the wedding. They arranged tables for the 70 couple wedding ceremonies and they put flower on each table. Question. What was the name of your husband and what was his ethnicity? Answer. My husband's name is Mat, Sohmat. His father's name is Soh and his name is Mat, so his name is Sohmat. He is Muslim. Question. Among the 70 couples that got married on the same day with you, how many couples were ethnic Cham? Answer. At that time, I did not count how many couples were Cham and how many couples were of other ethnicities. Question. Did you and your husband know each other before your marriage? Answer. We knew each other when we were in the mobile unit. He knew me and he proposed marriage with me. So his relatives also arranged the marriage for us. And our marriage did not take place according to our tradition. Question. So your marriage was as a result of the proposal by your husband, is that correct? Answer. my in-law came to ask me whether I agree to get married to my husband, and I said yes. So the arranged marriage took place. Question: did your husband's parents were still alive or already dead, already passed away when your marriage took place? Answer: my father-in-law was still alive, but after the marriage ceremony, my parents-in-law and along with I fled into the forest in the night time. Question: how many siblings were on your husband's side? Answer: my husband's sibling consisted of 4 people, including him, 1 female and 3 male. So question: so all the 4 escaped into the forest with your husband or not? Answer: yes, all of us, including my parents-in-law, fled into the forest. I, my husband, and his 4 siblings, and my parents and my parents-in-law all together fled into the forest in the middle of the night. So, were there any other people besides you and your husband and your in-laws who also fled into the forest? Answer: there were many people fleeing into the forest at that time. I did not know where they came from, what district or what village they came from. We saw each other in the forest. And when we cook rice in the forest, we needed to make sure that we would not let the smoke seen by people outside the forest. Questions: among those who fled into the forest, besides you and your husband's family, were there any other Cham families who also went into the forest? Answer: yes, there were also Chams. In my areas, there were a lot of Chams, but there were also some Khmer people mingling among us. Question: so when you were in the forest, can you tell the chamber how many Chams people were there at that time? Answer: I cannot estimate how many Cham people were there in the forest because the forest was pretty big. So I had no idea how many Chams people were there altogether. Question: were, based on your observations, those who were located near you in the forest, were they also Cham people? Answer: in my place, there were only me and my husband's families. For other places, I had no idea. I can talk only about my place. Question: you testified earlier that 3 months earlier you got married to your husband and then you fled into the forest. My question is that your family or your husband family told you anything why they fled into the forest to avoid the arrest by the Khmer Rouge cadres? Answer: I did not ask them. I was in the mobile units, so when he saw me and then he proposed to marry me and then the marriage took place, and I did not know anything besides that. Question: when your marriage happened, did people in the village told you that your husband's family were also of ethnic Cham? Answer: the villagers did not tell me. I myself knew that he was Cham. Question: did he ever tell you that he also hid his own Cham identity? Answer: I did not know about this. He did not tell me. Mr. President, I have no more question to put to this witness. Thank you. President, thank you. It is now convenient time for break. The chamber will take a short break from now until 3 o'clock. Court officer, please find for this witness a proper place in the waiting room reserved for witness, and please bring her back into the courtroom at 3 o'clock. The court is